No, I respectfully disagree, Arnab, because first of all, I think to call these people soldiers, these 10 killing machines that were trained and come into India as soldiers, is to demean the uniform of the soldier. Soldiers don't indulge in wanton acts of civilian killing. These are terrorists. They're a class apart, and unfortunately, there's no special code or no special law for how you treat terrorists legally. You treat them under the terrorist laws prevailing in a country. So I think to call them soldiers is to demean the uniform of any country. I mean, the category of soldiers universally. But, I think, Arnab, instead of looking forward, once you have accepted, it's too late now to cry over spilled milk and say there's been immense delay and so on and so forth. I think now we should really be looking forward. We've won half the battle. And after all, the discovery of Pakistan state actors' involvement gradually unfolded. At the inception, nobody could say that this was done, although we all suspected it. The evidence regarding the involvement of state actors gradually unfolded. So today you can say that this was an act of war because we have conclusive evidence that state actors are there. But in the case of when you have an act of war and you deem it as such, the response is to deal with it as an act of war. What should have been done is, once you reach that conclusion, you should have had, this is one possible, a quick surgical strike against LET headquarters. That's what should have been done. If you really believe that LET, the way to respond to an act of war is precisely in that way. Kasab is a foot soldier. How you deal with him is according to the ordinary laws, and in my respectful view, Arnav, we have shown to the world that unlike those who attacked us, we are a civilization. We are a civilization that believes in the rule of law, and yes, it may have cost us a little, but we don't believe in an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth.
I want to look forward to. I want to look forward to only respectfully, with great respect, to Mr. Harish Salve, and I don't want to cross swords legally with such eminent lawyers, but one technical point, I don't know if a prisoner of war can be hanged.
Cannot be.
So by that definition, Mr. Salve,
yes, he can be put to death. Your criminal procedure code and IPC don't apply.
Okay, anyway.
Prisoner of war, the army deals with them.
Okay, so that point is settled.
But let me tell you, let me take Mahesh's point. I have been saying this from day one. He is right. Even today, you do not have a code. We must make a special law to deal with these situations.
That is right.
Even if we were stuck with one Kasab, we should have made a law to deal with these situations. According to me, we could have made a law and tried Kasab under it. And secondly, let me answer this argument about fair procedure. Article 21 says in accordance with law. He would have been tried in accordance with law. The criminal procedure code is not the only law. We should have made a law of procedure to deal with this man. We are not creating a substantive offense. See, there are ways in which we could have dealt with it, and I completely agree with Mahesh. We should have declared it as an act of war and dealt with it by a surgical strike instead of trying to negotiate a most favored nation treaty with them.
So my other point, if I may just move on from here, and I want to go to Navkiran Singh, human rights activist, to open up this part of the debate. Kasab is a Pakistani terrorist. Now, how will we deal with Indian terrorists? Will vote bank considerations come into play? And when will political parties show the resolve to go beyond political considerations? I want to take up the case of Kehar Singh, for example, the mercy petition of Kehar Singh, sentenced Navkiran Singh in the Indira Gandhi assassination case on December 16th, 1988, applied for mercy to the president, rejected by the then president Venkat Raman, eventually hanged on January 6th, 1989. There is a similar will which has been displayed by Pranab Mukherjee in the case of Kasab. The point is, Navkiran Singh, when you take away vote bank politics, and there is an interplay between human rights lobbyists and vote bank politics, isn't there, Navkiran Singh? There's this interplay between vote bank politicians and human rights activists. If that intervention goes away, you can have swifter, better justice. You agree with me, Mr. Singh?
You see, I am one for giving justice to the issue and punishing the people in accordance with law. But as a human rights activist, we oppose the death penalty. So my issue is, yes, the laws should be so stringent, and whatever alternatives you can apply, that should be done. So I can't say that one should be given death penalty, even for the people who are.
No, I am not having. I am not into the
1984 laws.
I am not. No, I am not into the argument of death penalty or not, whether there should be death penalty at all or not. I am not getting into that theoretical argument. Would you concede tonight? I am opening up this for debate. Would you concede? Afzal Guru, for example, Aslam Ghani, you're from Jammu and Kashmir. He has political, you know, he is alive today. Many people believe because of support from political lobbies in Jammu and Kashmir who say if you hang Afzal Guru, you'll have internal security disturbances in Jammu and Kashmir. Is that a fact or not?
Listen,
is that a fact or not?
Please, I want to make one thing very clear. You see, when you talk of political interference in a civilized country like India, which has proved its civilization once, not many times, I would like to tell you that we should not get onto the conclusions.
So, were we uncivilized? Were we uncivilized when we rejected the mercy plea and when we hung Kehar Singh? Are we uncivilized when we have, no, then why? Where is the civilization argument?
That is what I am saying. That is what I am saying. I am just confirming what you say.
I am asking you tonight. No, I am asking you tonight. Why don't you concede that human rights activists and vote bank politicians go hand in hand to delay mercy petitions in politically sensitive cases? That's a point blank question to you. Why don't you concede that?
1 minute. I say that in any case, look, there.
No, I am talking about. I'm talking about Afzal Guru's case.
Afzal Guru's case. Let us talk about Afzal Guru's case.
Please.
Afzal Guru's case, as on today, is before you, before me, and before whole country, the mercy petition lying with President. Nor do you have a power, nor do I have a power to give a verdict on the mercy petition. So far we've been told that so far we've been told there's a queue. Today I've proven there's no queue.
What queue? Where's the queue?
You want to say queue that all the people should have been hanged today or
no? I'm saying Kasab was 17th on the list. There were 16 others before him. There was no queue. Why is Afzal Guru? Why are we not pushing Afzal Guru up the queue? Isn't it because of vote bank politics?
No, I don't.
You don't agree.
I don't think so. I don't agree.
I don't agree. Let's be realistic on that.
There's a point to make. No, please. There's a point to make.
The other side. Mr. Salve.
Let me make a point. No, please. Let me make a point. Let me make a point.
Let's
see. The point is, like, if you look at there are what you will do of all those writings which the human rights activists and other legal luminaries have commented about the Afzal Guru's trial, an unfair trial given to the person. You know, there are things. These are the things. Unfair trial. These are the things which are to be considered while considering the petition.
Harish Salve, yes. Harish Salve.
So we now have a court of appeal above the Supreme Court.
No, there is a mercy.
From where we file an appeal from the judgments of Supreme Court. We have argued in Supreme Court that he has an unfair trial. The Supreme Court says nothing of the sort. So we appeal to the President saying, look, Supreme Court is wrong. Please review the judgment. I'm sorry, that is not what mercy petitions are meant for. Mercy petitions, please, let's understand, the executive is not to second guess the court on matters adjudicated by the court. Mercy is for circumstances which do not enter the judicial verdict. If the President feels that human conditions, circumstances, the larger public interest, larger public good, and larger public good is not to be confused with political interest.
Circumstances. You refer to circumstances, Mr. Salve.
Those are considerations.
You are referring to circumstances. This is your word. I am taking you by your word. You are referring to circumstances. Circumstances is a very relevant factor for considering the mercy petition.
Correctness of the judgment of Supreme Court. Supreme Court has held there was nothing wrong with his trial.
I am asking Ujjwal Nigam and Mahesh Jethmalani tonight. You know, the fact is very simple. Mahesh Jethmalani, those politicians who want to delay action in cases like Afzal Guru, know, don't they, that in the case of inordinate delay, death sentences may be commuted to life. There have been such cases. Triveni Ben versus State of Gujarat.
No, I can give
Triveni Ben versus State of Gujarat.
That is an entirely different
position. It is not. It is.
Try to understand the law. No.
Sir, I am quoting a case, 1989. 1989. Undue delay in the execution of a death sentence entitles the condemned prisoner under Article 32 of the Constitution to approach the court that his death sentence be commuted to life imprisonment. and it did not explain inordinate delay. So it's a vague case. So what happens here is, Mahesh Jethmalani, let's take, so you use political lobbies.
More than 10 judgments.
Sir, please face the reality. Face the reality. Sir, I request you to face the reality and be honest with me tonight. Politicians, Mahesh Jethmalani, will do their best to use political lobbies to delay a case. And then the human rights lobbyists will unleash themselves and say, oh my God, this poor man, this poor terrorist, this poor assassin, this poor murderer / rapist, whatever, has suffered so many days in jail that we must now commute his death sentence in the first place. Mahesh Jethmalani, am I completely off the hook here? Or do you think there is a strong argument there? That there is a connivance between these lobbyists?
There's a very strong argument there. You are absolutely right that inordinate delay caused by political compulsions, as is the case in our country, with people with no real political conviction and people who don't want to take strong actions against terrorists, they cause inordinate delay. This inordinate delay then leads to human rights groups saying that, this man's Article 21 rights have been violated. You can't keep a death penalty hanging over the head of somebody for such a long time.
They call
the very fact of him having to face a death penalty is violated by Article 21, and this inordinate delay has caused him undue mental trauma, and therefore you must commute a death penalty and make it a life sentence.
So, Mr. Kaul, this connivance has to end somewhere, hasn't it? This connivance between political parties and human rights activists has to be exposed. It has to be blunted.
Arnav, let's be honest. Cases like Afzal Guru are prime examples of how we are politicizing the whole issue. The man is responsible for the most diabolical and dastardly act. He attacked the Indian Parliament, and we have a petition like that pending, and we are talking about queues. I don't know of any other country where it would have taken so much time as it takes in India. And then to say we are not politicizing it, of course we are politicizing it.
Of course we have.
And it is something which needs to be addressed immediately.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Ujjwal Nikam.
By the way, Arnav.
Yes.
Arnav, just a point of information. If my memory serves me right, shortly before Chidambaram stepped down as Home Minister, he had actually rejected the Afzal. Please remember that in the matter of mercy petitions, the President doesn't exercise an independent discretion. He's bound by the advice of the Home Ministry. So if my memory serves me right, the Home Minister Chidambaram rejected the mercy petition of Afzal Guru shortly before he stepped down and recommended that the death sentence be carried out. From then on, the President has to carry out that.
No, but Pratibha Patil did not. Pratibha Patil did not. And today we must candidly also ask one straightforward question to the former President of India. Wherever she is watching, I hope she is watching tonight. If this President can act so quickly in the case of Afzal Guru, why did you, when you were President, sit in the case of Ajmal Kasab, why did you sit on the case of Afzal Guru?